tears streaming down your face when I said I'll never let you go. When all those shadows almost killed your life, I remember you said, don't leave me here alone. I remember you said, don't leave me here alone. I remember tears streaming down your face when I said I'll never let you go. When all those shadows almost killed your life, I remember you said, don't leave me here alone. I remember you said, don't leave me here alone. I remember tears streaming down your face when I said I'll never let you go. When all those shadows almost killed your life, I remember you said, don't leave me here alone. I remember you said,
Don't overthink things, baby, 'cause I know that you do. You've been a stranger lately, and I know that's not you. No need to fight about it. No stress, I'm good without it. Let's keep it fun and simple. You know my love, it's no sweat, it's no sweat. Don't overthink things, baby, 'cause I know that you do. You've been a stranger lately, and I know that's not you. No need to fight about it. No stress, I'm good without it. Let's keep it fun and simple. You know my love, it's no sweat, it's no sweat. It's no sweat, it's no sweat. Don't overthink things, baby, 'cause I know that you do.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Technology knows what it's supposed to do at the last second.
Hello? 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 Miss
Hello?
Howard didn't hear.
Guy?
Oh, God.
Oh no.
Guys,
Oh, God.
Well, you know,
I can't see anything.
you can't win them all.
Really?
That's all I'll say about this.
Could someone turn on the light?
Hello?
What?
Hello?
We promise it was working perfectly.
I promise nothing.
Well, all right.
Oh, there you are.
Hey!
I wasn't ready.
I know. Messing with my shoelace.
Yeah, right. I was just like scratching my ear, looking down at the Twitch.
Let's see what other things can go wrong in this short amount of time.
Is that a record? How many things?
Here we are.
Hello.
Hello, people.
It looks more latent now, and it's frustrating me.
I hope it's coming through perfect.
I can't tell. I'll probably have to look at the footage on my phone. But
Yeah, honestly, that's probably what this is gonna be. I don't even know how many people are gonna watch. Oh, 1,000 billion of them. I kind
yeah,
looked it up
of
too.
course. Our loving and large fan base.
Our really large
Yeah.
fan base. The reason why we did this to begin with. The demand was just
It was
so
too
high.
high, man.
I am actually gonna look this up.
Yeah, is this what other streamers do? Is
Yeah,
they
like
watch
I
themselves?
honestly, I'm wondering about that. Like when you first start, how is it really?
I feel like it's helpful to have it on the side so you can see
Right.
whether or not things are going well.
There is a second leg.
Yeah, it's not, people are just now hearing what we're saying on there. My brain.
It's a good point to be like, oh, shouldn't have said that. Hit the end button.
End it all.
Huh? Kind of. Oh god, it's gonna be a loop.
It's just
It's
gonna
gonna
keep
be a
going.
loop of
Yeah.
us talking. It's not bad. I don't think.
It doesn't. Now I gotta look on my phone.
Yeah, no, the last hand movement I made.
So welcome to the podcast where we just look at our phones the entire time.
Yeah, we're watching ourselves. That's bizarre.
It's not
It's
terrible.
fine.
Yeah, it's not bad.
People
Wow.
will hear us. I think
You
hearing
don't
us
see
is
this,
better.
but the latency for us, it looks like my mouth is so far behind that it gives me a headache. And that has been the last hour of us figuring all of this out.
Just getting ready.
I've been sitting right here the whole time. But Tony
Damn
is
it,
very smart.
Thomas.
It's got it all.
It's got the whole package of anxiety.
So we don't have to.
So much anxiety. I have enough for everybody, you know? You
Yeah.
can divvy it out. Oh, my little post-it note disappeared now, but we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? So today, I'm just going to reiterate how these vlog casts work. So it's 3 times a month. We talked last week, not live streamed. We talked last week about news, which we were the news last week. We talked about how we work and what we want to see come out of the channel. This week is Common Sense, where we just talk about things that we learn growing up, and sometimes they're super true and sometimes they're just really not accurate at all. And then we do art concepts, where we make art with people and they teach us art, and you make art with us. Yeah. So, Common Sense. What are we talking about today? What are we talking about, Mikey?
I want to talk.
Take it away.
Here you go.
Let's see. So I feel like a common sense point that we could start off with is reaffirming or giving praise to people that do this only the status quo. I've had some points learned growing up that you need to stick out, you need to overachieve, and that's where praise comes from. So that's where the energy to like do more is like how that full circles is. You want to go above and beyond so you can get that praise, but it seems double-sided on the people that do their job well but just not exceptional. Like they don't get as much praise as the people that are sticking out. And I think there's a different points of view on that, for sure.
Well, definitely how someone gets introduced to somebody or a situation can ultimately affect how they're treating people according to how much effort they assume that someone is giving to the situation.
I think everybody at one point or another, when they meet somebody or they work with somebody, will assume how much of a hard worker they are just instinctually. But it's also like, it doesn't define who they are.
No, truly.
Necessarily.
No, a lot of times. I mean, the main point that I thought of when we both started talking about this is just like the lack of ability for people to just give appreciation to people, and just like the overall idea of, I don't know, like just like why is it so bad to just appreciate somebody just for just not doing something that didn't help, you know, like. You know, just like, and in turn, like, if you appreciate somebody from that, then they might end up doing a better job.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I landed on that whole idea.
I think giving somebody a compliment in general that's not used to getting compliments, that could drive them for weeks on end, like, just being acknowledged.
No, truthfully. You guys remember that video that circulated around for a while where it's just like the guy filmed people like right before he said like they're beautiful or like give them a compliment or something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a photo or a video of them smiling.
There may be a photo of it, but I do remember I know there's probably a video of it, but I definitely seen the photo one was before and after calling people beautiful, and it was a very genuine post to see like people's face light up, because I don't think a lot of people are expecting that kind of treatment out of the blue.
Definitely. Yeah, and I feel like it happens more often than not in the workplace, just because a lot of people aren't there to specifically make friends or anything. It's just like you go there, you work, you go home sometimes. And I'm curious if people did approach stuff from a more appreciative fashion than how people would. Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of like build synergy.
Yeah, like
create that environment.
Instead of going to work just to work, it'd be more of a collective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How I feel about appreciation, how it affects somebody. Even if you want somebody to do better, or you think that they're not doing as well as you believe that they can do, or they have the potential to do, not telling them that they're doing good or trying, or like they're new at this or whatever, and they'll get better. They just need to keep trying. You don't tell someone that, they're going to give up. I mean, most people do.
You could be better.
People, I can't tell you how many times in high school that a teacher whose name will remain undisclosed would say to me, I thought I would be trying so hard to do things. I will admit sometimes I didn't, but a lot of times I would try hard and I would get zero, compliments on it or praise. It's not like I really needed it, but when you try really hard and then someone's just like, maybe you're not cut out for this.
Yeah,
it really makes it hard to try.
Why would you say that to... I was having that conversation just the other day about a similar teacher, and dude, it's just... Why would you ever say something like that to a student, for one? I mean, like obviously a teacher might have standards that they, want, especially in art. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Art is always just, this weird ether of, there's that group of people who just don't care about it at all, and then the other group of people who are just, so serious about it, but in their own way, to where if you don't do what they want to do, then it's just you're not cut out for what I envisioned.
It's all vision, yeah.
And truthfully, it's just same with sports, man. I don't know why people push their, I get it, push your limits, grow as a human being, but why would you push somebody so hard past their best effort just to grasp this vision that doesn't even really exist yet, just the thing you see, but I've never understood that.
I've seen the two schools of thought on A-type people and B-type people, where some people are driven through wanting to prove people wrong. I think I've had experience like that in school as well, where I was approached and told that I'm going to keep working with you, but I don't think you're gonna make it. Almost in the sense of wanting to force me to prove them wrong and accomplish it, but it's kind of taking that kind of approach where it's I'm gonna challenge this person to the point where they may just do it, and it's a success either way, but it's a negative affirmation.
Right, what is that teaching in the long run?
The spite, yeah. Teaching you to work through spite. And
exactly. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. Other common sense is just like, buck up.
Yeah,
Like,
negative reinforcement.
yeah. And so many parents is just like, okay, so when you spank your child or something like that after they do something, what is that exactly teaching them? Like, like fear-based, like totally. Like, yeah, you're going to beat the shit out of them if you don't do what I say. But a lot of kids, man, like, it's hard for them. Like, parents will even just explain things in a negative context. It's like, I don't like you doing this, rather than explaining what they do want them to do.
Right.
Like, so the kid just associates getting beat with what they don't want, and then that's all they know. And then it's like, I know what you don't want, but like, tell me what you want, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of people, a lot of parents will come up with reasons why they shouldn't do these things that aren't maybe the best reasons in the world. And I'm generalizing here, but like,
right, I feel like I talk about kids because I work, like, I think we've all worked with kids at one point, but it's just, I know that being a parent for a kid and working with kids is a very different, so it's like grain of salt. Anytime I talk about kids, it's like total grain of salt, because I only got to deal with them for a couple hours at a time.
yeah, I don't have kids. None of us have kids, but it's
from the outside perspective.
Yeah.
From
Right,
the outside perspective. For
It's
sure.
very wild cardish too, because kids are, constantly evolving into what they want to be. But it's a good point to look at where do you give them praise on trying things for the first time, or with the negative of praise, disciplining. How does that affect like an older child versus a middle child? Like, say the older child is the golden star and the middle child is trying, but I don't know, do you give praise to the middle child for attempting, or just not being as good as the older child, and this strains into the work environment? And
No, truthfully. Well, that's interesting, because we've always been in that cross culture of like, the older generation was always just super upset that we got like appreciation awards and participation awards. Just like, hey, like you did a thing, which like in some respects, like, you don't want to boost a kid up like falsely, like you don't want to give them like a false sense of hope or something like that. But at the same time, like, I guess if you're not explaining why they got the award that they did, like, I guess that defeats the purpose. Yeah, setting a weird expectation of, like, it's like a hidden expectation. It's like, here's an award, we don't know what it means, but here's a ticket. Like,
I think that could set a negative expectation for moving forward in life too, like as you're growing up. Because say you're going into work and you're doing the bare minimum because you showed up. Like, that could be, the line is drawn, and that could be good enough for some people. But when you stop getting praise because you're into a work environment and doing just enough isn't enough, it like negatively impacts you.
No, truthfully.
Like, that kind of upbringing can be very negative.
It also comes down, like you talked about, like the difference in treatment of like people's children. I don't know, because like every kid functions different. So I mean, it's always about the amount of communication you're having with your kids. Because if a kid just excels, like they're just at the right time, right place, like they not specifically lucky, but just like they understand the patterns happening around them just a little bit. I guess just, you could call it better, but it's better according to how society is. It's just like, it'd be like helping the younger kid or the older kid who's being compared to this kid that seems to be like the golden child, like find their strengths. That makes it hard with siblings too, because they want to be, some kids want to be like so similar. Mm-hmm. When they're growing up, they attach to like, hey, I'm exactly like my brother. And that's gotta hurt if you stay like that for your entire life, because you're probably nothing like each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It makes it cool when you guys end up finding something that you like.
Enjoy, yeah.
Like me and my brother playing music together. It's super cool that he started doing that again. But that didn't happen for like a decade after we were already grown up. Like, like that connection didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think as parents, you should definitely show equal love to all of your children as much as you can, I think, just because otherwise there could be some resentment later down the line. And it's not, I mean, you shouldn't have favorites, but you can have a favorite child, I guess. Just don't tell the other child that one's your favorite. I don't know. It's just like you can't put kids down like that.
Right, I think if you're gonna pick a favorite moment that a child has done, you should probably like at least go through the favorite moments you've had with all of your children. So it's just
have
like,
different food.
yeah, so you don't get like a child bias or something like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you
I mean, unless you're like
them off.
children are like actively
You
trying
got
to
3
hurt
through
you.
5 years old. You got 8 through 10. I've seen a trend in just looking through like memes in general, because with how crazy memes are now, it's an outlet of sorts, whether it be a news source or just comedy. I've seen some different instances where people are making sketches and stuff about how they interact with their parents and like the lack of interaction that they have, where some people have perceptions where like their parents are the type where they'll be like, this is why we're doing this. Why? Because why? Don't argue with me. And like,
Right, because I told you so.
yeah, and it's like from that point on, it's like, well, now I'm mad, and they're like, you're not allowed to be mad. It's-
Yeah, we really, people, it's not good to give excuses like that. It's like, I told you to do this, now you're going to do it. Because people will never agree to follow that. I mean...
Well, it's raising a society of children who aren't able to ask questions.
Yeah.
Like when they get hurt or something, or I mean, it's not even just getting hurt, just in general life. You go off and you learn a new job, and then you don't feel confident enough to be like the person told you what to do. If you didn't understand it, you just do what they told you to do. Like that's it. That's the whole thing.
It's true. I think
Don't ask questions.
I think a
Stop.
specific line to be drawn at an age. When you start to notice, I think your child is comprehending what you're saying, as instead of just, responding, you can start creating that habit of conversation. I believe just because is an alright thing if the kid doesn't have a reasoning of why it's like upset or something, like 3 years old, 4 years old, like it's tired but it doesn't know it, and it's like it's time to stop doing this. Why? Because as you get older, it'd be more of like an explanation point, so the child can start practicing having
Right.
Back
It's
and
like,
forth.
how do you explain something to a person who doesn't have like the contextual clues quite yet?
Mhm.
That was interesting. Because like a lot of times I feel like it's not just parents, but just friendships, relationships miss out on like full-on moments of growth because you're too tired or you don't have enough time in that moment. It's just like the kid expresses interest in like a hobby. It's like the hobby is gonna sound like super annoying if you have a headache and you just got home from work. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it might just sound like the most annoying thing ever, and the kid was just interested in physics or something like that, and he could have been like this huge physicist, and because you didn't have enough energy, it's not your fault, because it's like it's just those moments in life that we miss those opportunities of appreciation for something. Ultimately, just like, you see it in romantic relationships all the time, man. I mean, everyone says there's the honeymoon phase, which I don't believe even exists. It's just like, if you're able to find somebody where you're able to keep this like consistency of appreciation going, then it's just, and it's not exhausting the shit out of you, because the other person isn't just exhausting you for this amount of appreciation that you just can't muster up. But if you're able to find that zone of consistent appreciation, I mean, it's not just romantic relationships, friendships really require it. If you actually want to be, I mean, you guys live together. There's a certain level of angry patience and
Yeah, there is, but there's conversation.
I don't know. We've lived
100%.
together for a while now. I mean, maybe towards the beginning of us living together, it was easier to get upset about certain things. But I don't know. We've known each other for so long.
Yeah, I think the beginning states of hanging out was the most exciting. It would be a honeymoon of sorts, because it's just like, you're just like, you like this video game? I like this video game. We're fucking playing this for 20 hours straight. Like, like it's always great, but there's always been some sort of conversation. So now it is like that easy working friendship.
Yeah. It's all about figuring shit out, really. Figuring out what pisses somebody off and what doesn't, what not.
And doing it just because.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he knew.
that becomes like a bigger idea of just I don't think people realize, like, I personally have a lot of acquaintances in my life. I have a lot of people that I do show appreciation to just because I think it's the right thing to do, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But finding a true friend, like, that you are able, or significant other, or a family member that you trust in is, like, a really hard thing to actually do. Like, it's a pretty rare thing. And if you grow up in a family that's, like, really tight-knit, you don't realize that there's, like, a lot of people who don't have, like, tight family relations,
Yeah.
or have the skills necessary to even build a strong friendship, because they've been in like survival mode for a solid second. I think that's where a lot of my appreciation comes from, is that a lot of people in just daily life are so willing to give a part of themselves and, like, try towards something if you just treat them with a bit more respect than you would even like to see. Just, like, not the extra mile, but just, like, okay, I'm having a poopy day, like, I would like some appreciation. So the minute you put that out into just general society, dude, there's just so many cool people out there that probably haven't got an opportunity to be appreciated to begin with. Like, there's...
I think that everybody deserves to be respected and appreciated in a different way. I mean, maybe you don't get along with certain people, but, you know, generally a good way to respect and appreciate them is to just not talk to them. And I know that sounds like it would be the opposite, but, like, if you're causing them less stress and yourself less stress by talking to them, then you're kind of appreciating their space in a way, if you know what I mean. Or
No,
respecting
truthfully.
them. I kind of am using them as a synonym at the moment.
Mhm.
It's just like, I don't know, everybody should just be kind to one another. What's that from? That quote? That's a quote.
That's a quote.
I don't know what it's from.
Brought to you by quotes.com.
I own that. That's mine.
That is his.
Don't take it or
That's
I'll
his.
sue you.
He will come after you.
I've got a full legal team.
What?
Don't.
Well, that is a cool concept of... Don't. That's a cool concept of sometimes appreciating somebody is knowing when to not be involved with them.
Yeah.
Truthfully, yeah, that's a super cool point. What is that saying? It's like I don't want you to not eat. I just don't want to eat at the same table as you. like it's like I want you to survive, but I don't want to be around to see it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of respect in that phrasing.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
There's no way to get along with everyone, but there is totally a way to respect everyone.
Exactly.
Which is something that I think is lacking in this world sometimes.
And I think appreciation and respect are kind of two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, I mean, they go
Is that the
hand in
saying?
hand.
Two sides of the same coin? It sounded weird coming
I
out
don't
of my
know,
mouth.
man.
Is that
It
right?
sounds right.
It sounds right.
It sounds correct.
Find out next week if it's right.
Comment, like, subscribe in the chat right now if you know what the real one is. 'cause
Hit
I
that follow
don't.
button.
Can't look it up. We'll
unfollow
know
the
if you
button.
looked it up. It's gotta be in the nog.
Completely leave the stream if you know.
Delete Twitch, re-download it.
Don't
come
actually
back.
do that. That's a full.
We need
joke.
you.
Yeah, please. Please. Don't leave.
Oh god.
I really hope there's one person out there that's like, yes.
Yeah.
This is
So
my
much
shit.
yes.
Whoever Bab53 is who followed, thank you.
You know, I legitimately think it's my mom.
Hell yeah.
Legitimately. What's up, mama?
That
What's up,
was
Mama
like,
Bear?
the one thing I was thinking is like we shared that the stream was going to be going live. I was full expecting like, hi honey, how are you
know, right?
doing?
Hello.
Posted on Facebook,
Oh.
all the parentals.
Cold
How do
tin
you
bite.
say your name, bro?
Cold
Whoa.
tin bite. Two
I like
in the
it.
middle. Welcome.
Thank you for joining
Hello,
us.
hello. But respect and appreciation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back to that.
yes. Back to that.
This whole channel is going to be a tangent. I can already tell. Yeah, respect and appreciation. I think, what was the main point that we wanted to drive from it? Like,
I don't know, man. When I first came up with the concept, it was more of like, I don't know, just such minute moments in life. You have the opportunity to just like actually see somebody for a second. Like even walking down the street, whether it's a homeless person or just a passerby that you have a moment with, it's just
that's phenomenal.
the little moments that you miss out on just because you you weren't paying attention to, like, I don't know. Every moment in life is an opportunity, and not to say you have to be like 100% all the time. I mean, we have hangover days, get life hangovers or actual alcohol hangovers. I don't know, man. Like, life's exhausting, but I don't know. It's like the idea of going out to eat. Like, in our society growing up, is like, I'm going to tip 20% every single time.
Yes.
Like, whether there was a good server or a bad server. I mean, I am biased because I was a server for a while, but it's like, especially in America, it's like that's their wages. Like, if someone does a phenomenal job, yeah, I'm going to give them like another 5-10%,
Oh yeah.
just because they did a good job. And I don't know. But if I'm going out to eat, I know that I'm going to spend another 20% of what I already do that in my head while I'm getting the food.
So there's the foresight to that. Like, you're planning on doing it. I see that opinion from the restaurant workers' side more often than the opposite side.
Mhm.
People will say, you know, if you want better tips or better pay, then get a different job. Like, sucks.
It's like, but then they're the people who go out to eat the most. Like, I rarely go out to eat. I mean, because I'm broke most of the time and in
It's
college,
true.
but
It's a nice treat.
it's a nice treat, yeah. But it's also a nice treat for a server. Like, if you're going out and being served by somebody, it's like if they got paid like $15 an hour, I probably wouldn't worry about, like, I personally, if I was serving and getting paid $15 an hour, tips would just be like the cherry on top.
True that.
That would be so much money.
Truthfully,
Absolutely
that
would be.
ridiculous, but it's still. I tip 20% as well everywhere I go. Sometimes I'll tip more. Mikey loves to tip
Stupid
$1 million,
amounts.
which is fine because I get it. You were a server, so you're just like, money, give me money.
It's tip karma, and some people do. Some people do believe in it or not. I'm not a server anymore, but I still believe in tip karma. Where, like, I've gotten those left field tips before, where, like, you have a decent table and, like, it was a good interaction, and then after they leave and you look at the tip and it's like $50 or even 50% of it. Like, there was a trend going around where it was you match your total. I had gotten one of those before, and, like, it is the ultimate kind of praise. Even if, like, the table wasn't great, but usually when the table is phenomenal and you really clicked with them and they gave you a really big tip at the end, that's like your energy for the rest of the day.
It's just so it's not bizarre by any means. I mean, monetary.
It's a weird affirmation, like putting a value on something. But I don't know, I push that forward. Even if, like, we have a server that's not as attentive, like, I'm hoping that when we're leaving, they're checking the tip like, holy shit, like, what did I do?
You know, the only people that don't tip well or that, like, get mad at their waitresses and stuff like that, or servers, should I say, sorry, are people that have never worked in the restaurant industry and don't understand. Like,
I was about
how
to
much
say
work
that
it
too.
is.
I was about to say that exact same thing too. Like, maybe just by being in that situation, you're able to, like, approach more situations in your life with a more appreciative, like, hey, I'm gonna boost this person up because I know what it's like to not be appreciated. It's customer service in general, man. If you haven't worked in the customer service industry, like, it's honestly not the worst thing in the world. Like, there's some really awkward moments just because you're dealing with, like, random people all day, but it's I don't know. I think it should be like the rite of passage. If you haven't done customer service for like 1 year, you need to, like, go back to school or something.
Start over.
Like, that's like your post high school training or something like that, or during high school training.
Yeah, like tail end of high school, right before you real world.
Seriously, not to say that there's not other tough jobs. It's just like
Absolutely.
people skills are they're going out of style for some reason. I don't quite get it.
Right. I think that there's so much traumatization that can happen to you that makes it hard to communicate with people, in a sense. I mean, I've met a lot of people that just have a hard time talking to other people. Even I have a hard time talking to people sometimes. It's just hard to communicate sometimes, and I feel like that all comes not necessarily just from trauma of some sort, but from social trauma, you know, or, you know, bad social situations that you may have ended up in that really make you unsure about what you're going to say. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
No, truthfully, just approaching every situation as if you don't. It's like, I'm good. Getting vibes. You didn't do anything. Literally, I went into it because I don't want to do this. Had a bad year last year. Like it's totally relatable. It's
We
totally
don't talk
relatable.
about that year.
We don't talk about that year,
Dark
man.
year.
Dark year.
I mean, that's one reason why I like art, and honestly, I've gotten so much better at being social just because of, like, we play shows, and it's just, like, that appreciation for playing music live or showing a piece of art that people really liked. It, like, breaks that, like, gap in between, like, I mean, even going to appreciate someone else's art, like, people are so willing to just, I don't know, it just feels way more genuine. I'm not great at taking compliments. I'm absolutely terrible, but the conversations after are just like, it seems just so easy.
It's like a point of practice.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have problems with being accepting appreciation because it's some people don't expect it because they don't get it that often. For me, I've been praised times in my life, especially when I have done shows or something like that, and it's very hard for me to accept the compliments that I get because I don't know what to say afterwards. So they'll say that they enjoyed the show, and I will say, thanks, I appreciate it.
That's the same tone of voice too. Like I've heard that Tomo before.
I just sit there and like say that, and then they walk away eventually.
You stare at them until they walk away.
I don't know what to do.
I've had that feeling of like trying to accept a compliment, and like the first urge is to immediately appreciate them more.
I know, right?
So it's like, thanks for existing in this moment with me. I'm going to go now.
Right? Like, my go-to is like, man, I appreciate you. Like, thank you for coming. You're the reason why we can do this.
Exactly.
And then after that, I'm like, so do you play music? Like, I try to make it about them, like, almost as fast as possible. So, like,
you get spotlight off
so,
of
like,
you.
evens the playing ground, like, instantly. I'm just like, all right. So, like, what do you do?
Yeah.
It's like the whole...
How does this
Move
make
on
you
quickly.
feel?
There's like 10,000 people around, like immediately it's like, let's just talk over
Let's
here.
just talk. Let's talk for a
How's
second.
it going?
Yeah.
I got time.
I always tell people that come to our shows, like, thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. I do have like a script in my head every time someone comes up to me, but I do mean it. In case you're one of those people watching right now,
Yes.
I mean it every time. I just have to have that, or I'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
there's a green room in there.
Yes.
And then I take off. Yes.
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 Yeah, great show.
Yes.
Yes.
I do have the same response.
I
It's
kind of
just-
want to do that to somebody now. It would be kind
Just
of
the
rude,
whole
probably.
night.
Just, oh my god. Hey, good job,
Yes.
guys. Yes.
I feel like that's how super celebrities have to be at like signings.
Legitimately,
and stuff.
dude.
I
Like,
love your stuff.
you can't possibly. I was actually thinking about that the other day. Like, if you had to introduce yourself to like 1 million people, I really don't know how I got it. Like, it was like shower thoughts. I don't really know.
Oh yeah.
But if you had to like introduce yourself to 1 million people, or even just show appreciation to 1 million people, okay, 86,000 seconds in a day. You can't. Like, it's gonna take more than 1 second to talk to, like, let's say like 5 seconds per person. That's 5 million seconds.
How do you make 1 million impressions?
How do you make 1 million impressions? Like, logically, how many people do you meet in a lifetime? Like, how many moments? This kind of is gonna be full circle, dude. It's just like, how many moments do we actually have to appreciate somebody throughout time? Like, do we have 1 million moments? Do we have 5 million moments? I sound like I'm doing Rent right now.
525,600.
But seriously, like, how many moments do you actually have to be genuine with somebody? And I mean, then subtract the amount of times that you're too tired to do it. Subtract the amount of times that you really just don't care. Subtract the amount of times that we're just too awkward to go into the situation because of past trauma, or just like, I don't know, a person just giving you too much appreciation, like, thanks, thank you, overload.
that's what's nuts about YouTube and how many followers people get on YouTube.
Seriously.
If you think about any friends that, at least any friends that I've ever had, none of them are any higher than 5K in friends on Facebook or likes or like people following them on YouTube. Even one of the biggest bands that we've ever worked with, he was in high school, they only have maybe 1,000 people that really like them. And it might be more than that now because they've been really working. But like it's 1 million people think that that's small numbers on YouTube, but that is so many people that
It's just a lot.
it's insane.
Like just thinking of all the people, like on Facebook, I have almost 2,000 friends. Do I actually know all those people? I
Consistently
probably
talk
not
to.
met a good percentage of those people, which is kind of a bizarre, like what? Like,
Yeah, the whole the
Why?
follow nature, like this where we're at now, because obviously we're really indoors as a society right now. But how often do you just look at somebody's like profile for 3 seconds and just follow, or just subscribe or something? And
scroll for 5 seconds, like subscribe, bam.
you're like, I might like them or something like that, and then I don't know, like, it snowballs from there. I lost track of how many friends I have on Facebook. Not that I have like an abundance. I just stopped looking at the number at some point. But I'm sure I don't interact with any of them, which is insane.
Right, actually I did look. Yeah, like a couple days ago I noticed that what my friend number was at, and I'm almost at 1,000. And I was like, dang, I
That's a
never thought
lot.
I would even get that far. Not that I really care that much, that's why I didn't know until a few days ago. But there's that many people have known who I am at one point.
Yeah.
Super interesting. Well, that's something that, I mean, this whole conversation kind of relates to the website as a whole. Is like, if this platform, honestly, like the whole point of Over the Way is to make sure that artists are being appreciated in the way that they need to be appreciated. It's like, all too often people want free events. I can't tell you how many times I get asked for our band to go do free stuff, or for me to go just sing at an event because it's just me. Like, and it makes it even harder to be like, no. But having that ability to band, like, I don't know.
Bridge it.
Yeah, bridge between artists, bridge between fans. But that's a whole nother concept. So it's like we're talking about. I mean, Markiplier, PewDiePie, like they have. He has 100 million subscribers. Like, logically, he's not talking to all 100 million of them when, like, obviously there's always going to be that percentage of people who just don't actively watch, but...
Yeah.
He would probably grow old and die before he could meet all
Every
of those
single.
No, exactly. But how do you appreciate... It's like you have to do these generalized appreciation moments.
Yeah.
Like Markiplier, I think he did a really good job. This is a conversation for a different day of like art news, but Unis Honest was just like, I think more than the concept they were going for, it was so interactive for fans.
Yeah.
Like it was more than just a generalized like appreciation. It was just like, it was just a lot of, I don't know. There's a lot of work.
Yeah. I'm
Even if the
excited
concepts
to-
that they did every day weren't exactly like great concepts to even talk about, but it like that's the whole point. That's literally the whole point. Is
Yeah.
that they were just doing it.
And there was the video where we can make a video about anything, and that was going to be the video, and it was just opening a jar for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It was like, I love this content, but I'm excited to get further into like an Unis Honest talk, just because there's a lot of really cool ideals, and the community they built really quick of people
So
that still
fast.
interact with each other just based off of that 1 year of like all just enjoying the same content.
Right.
It's super fascinating.
The evolution of content creators has been very interesting because I don't know how, like, why there's still like, it seems like there's still a weird separation between like YouTube/Twitch content creators and like the other parts of the hierarchy of like entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, think I saw Jacksepticeye. He's now in a movie next year, but that's the first time I've ever heard of like a YouTuber being actively
On like a talk show or
Yeah.
in some kind of media.
Yeah, and I mean I've seen him do interviews. He did interviews with the Spider-Man crew, like
Yeah, that
the
was
Homecoming
really cool.
one. Like he actually went and talked to like this. Like that's something that I haven't seen with content creation, and I'm so curious as to why. And maybe it's just because I honestly don't know. That might be a talk for a different day too. But
Yeah, for real. We're coming up with concepts as we film.
Yeah, it's pretty much how this is gonna be, right? Concepts for days.
If anyone didn't know, this is all improvised, pretty much. I mean, other than the concept that we started with.
Yeah.
Yeah, this being the first official live stream. I'm excited that anybody that showed up, I hope you're interested in what this will become.
Right. With this, how the screen is, I can't. This is all new. This is all very new.
It is.
So, oh, we can see the viewers. Okay. All right. Cool.
Where's that at?
It's in the corner of the left quadrant.
4. That's more than I've ever had.
What?
Quad.
Hello, 4.
I'm not
people.
seeing this number you're seeing.
Above the text box where the font gets bigger or
So
smaller.
you got your
Yeah.
activity feed up there in the left corner, and then you go down a little bit with the names, and then it's at the bottom of the names.
Oh, okay.
Before stream.
I'm blind.
I don't know if that's active
Legally.
viewers or just like overall viewers. I'm still learning.
Right.
I don't know.
I think there's. 4
I'm
people
curious if the music is too loud. A viewer should totally be like, "Hey, this is super loud, and we haven't heard anything that you've said."
here. That would be so sad.
Hey, Bad.
I feel like someone would tell us.
Yeah,
though.
someone would have said something.
Bad
right?
53. Legit. First off.
I think
Legit.
that
Is it-
she said legit when I'm
You said
assuming
ma'am.
here that when you said something about it being your mother.
It's a good assumption, but also
Legit.
I don't know.
It was just like legit. And I
It's
was
a good
like,
assumption.
yeah. But what if it's just been music?
It's just
We
been
just
music
like-
the whole time. Oh god. That would've been-
We'll have the recap video in next
yeah,
week's
the recap.
episode.
I'm recording separate audio, so you'll see it next time. Whenever I get that video.
That would be a
done.
perfect thing to happen because this is super trial and error.
Yeah, for
I think
real.
it's a good start though. I mean, there's a lot of people that start with even less stuff. So.
Oh,
I mean,
I can hardly hear the music.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
okay, well
sweet.
that's better.
That's
Yeah.
that's better than the music being overpowering. We'll figure that out.
Well, now we have to find some way to. It could be turned down a bit.
Oh, okay. Well, that's too hard. That's two
Now
different
we're going
sides of the
50.
spectrum.
See, now we need a deal breaker. One person said can hardly hear the music. Other person.
Shall we flip the coin?
I don't know what to do about that.
You know, we're just gonna turn down our vocals all the way
And then turn
as
the
a third
music
choice, so everybody's happy. You know, like the music stays where it is, and then our vocals go all the way down.
We'll just do one, no one once.
down. Yeah. But it is not bad. So that is a good thing. So at least it had some kind of audio pickup.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, quite.
But appreciation.
Yeah, that was just a break. That was a break from that topic.
For
Yeah.
a break.
Yeah. We got them tangents. We do have a Be Right Back screen. I don't really know if we'll ever use it with our hour
Yeah, we're
streams.
only going an hour and a half, right? It's an hour and a half?
I section out an hour and a half for future. Like the talk's gonna be about an hour, and then like I assume like 30 minutes to interact with people and.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, okay. Like we kind of did just now.
Yeah,
cool
exactly.
down.
Like I mean, if we tangent more, then I guess that kind of just gets accounted into the
It's nice to have a cushion.
Spoople. I even have a talking to chat screen.
Boom! I like
Boom!
that.
I could switch that up if I had
A button thing.
Clipper duper.
We'll work on that.
a dongle. Yeah.
Those dongles.
Those dongles, man.
Is that a charger?
I don't know, man.
I don't know what a dongle is. I've heard it a million
See,
times.
As soon as
At
a
my
USB.
work, they call those like little things that you need for iPhones now. They call them dingle hoppers. But the first time they said that, dingle hoppers from The Little Mermaid. That's what they
Yeah.
call the fork.
Is
Thingamabob?
what it-
It's called a dingle hopper, and I was like from The Little Mermaid. And they're like, "What are you talking?" They didn't know what I was talking about at first. I was like,
Is the Little Mermaid dead?
"You called it the dingle hopper. Why am I the only guy who works here who knows what a dingle hopper is?
Why am I the weird one?
Why am I the weird
I don't
one?"
understand.
She had 20 of them.
Hey.
Hey, what's the deal?
What's wrong with the dingle hopper?
God. Damn it,
Appreciate
Donnie.
God damn it.
Oh, that joke.
Man, that's the OG. That's the
an old joke.
OG streams. I feel like we need Wilcox, you know.
So I like to praise people by.
No, please.
Sorry, I just wanted to jump straight into that. I didn't have anything to say.
Yeah, no,
okay.
you take
No,
it.
no, you got the
take it
reins,
and-
no.
Yeah.
I just like to respect people. all the
It did
time.
not sound genuine at all.
There's a cue card behind the screen.
I am
Guy
not
standing
being
over
held against my will.
Right.
Yeah,
we should really figure out where we're gonna go with that, because I didn't actually have anything to say there.
You sounded really confident,
I did,
and then
I just
really
wanted to-
not genuine at all. Like it was up here, and then it crashed. So fast.
I just wanted it to be like we were not talking about that at all, and then just jump straight back into it. But I didn't think it through, so that's where it ended.
So you got the plane in the air, but no engine.
Yeah.
Who needs an engine?
Hey man.
Not when you have style.
Not if you're immortal. You know, like you just crash and just.
I'm
You're like Archer, man.
Yeah.
Crash your plane. I'm immortal. I can't die.
If only.
If only.
Man.
I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. Immortality.
So I guess where we go from here is the like how people are brought up to respect each other or not respect each other. I think that would be a good place to go from here.
Yeah. I personally have always been taught that respect is like, oh no, this actually does get a little weird. It's now that I've started thinking about it.
Back up.
Well, it's like the older generation, say your grandparents or any of adult, respect was always a given. That's where the yes sir, yes ma'am kind of thing given in.
That's true.
And as the older you get and you get into more of a work environment, you kind of learn that respect is earned. And I think that's a weird split between, like, you should always respect people, which I believe. You should respect everybody. But then when it comes to performance, respect is earned. Olympians are respected because they've earned their spots. High contractors or artists, musicians have earned their respect. But where does the respect come in for the beginners that have no credentials?
I think that kind of circles back to what Tomo brought up earlier of just the way you appreciate sometimes. The way you appreciate someone sometimes looks like you leaving them be because they're not healthy. Like that's a whole other conversation of what levels of people to deal with. Like should you just appreciate somebody because they are related to you, or because you have appreciated them in the past, or is it just like, yeah, so it's more of a perspective of appreciation rather than just like, I don't know, because I guess what you're saying, when you grew up, you were just told base level of respect, but you have to earn it.
Yeah, it's very funky. I obviously, you would always say, I'm from southern parts of the East Coast, that direction, and it is very yes. Yeah, I live over there.
He came from over that way.
It's
We're actually outside right now.
You decide. The southern draw really is a yes ma'am, no ma'am, and it's everyone deserves respect from the get-go. But there's some weird transition from humanity and what's the job, really.
Yeah, I feel like it's in like professional life. It's just like if you don't work your ass off in the job environment, then you did not gain a certain level of appreciation because you didn't work hard enough or something like that. Interesting. Tomo, did you comment on how you grew up? I can't.
I was gonna say something, and that's why I made that face just now. So I
sorry.
forgot. No, it wasn't your fault. I was listening to what you were saying, and then I realized I lost it entirely.
Want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right, I got you. Back to you, Tony, down at the office or down at the news station.
West
What did I
Couch.
say? Back at the studio. That's what they say. Well, I was very fortunate growing up because I had, I don't know, pretty accepting family, and most of what they taught me with respect was pretty apparent with how they treated each other. It was more of just like, I don't know, just going out in society, I think even hearing the affirmation that my family was sweet people, what were sweet people? How do you say that sentence? They were nice to people in society, and I saw the appreciation come back to them actively, so it was like reaffirmed in my head of like, if I mimic what my family is doing, then it was just that base level of appreciation to anybody, no matter really what.
Right, even if it wasn't significant.
Yeah, even if it wasn't significant, yeah. And it was harder for me to learn like boundaries. I think a lot of my life was spent kind of making sure other people were appreciated rather than making sure that I was okay first.
Right.
Making sure that I was appreciating myself before I was appreciating other people. And I think that's been a big lesson in my honestly later 20s. It's taken me a long time to just like realize that I can be more selfish than I have in the past. And I mean, that's a whole nother level of appreciation. I mean, you're going to be exhausted if all you're doing is giving everyone else appreciation. But yeah, I don't know. We're talking about appreciation and respect, and again, yeah, they do relate to each other, but I think they're both carried out very differently. Because appreciation, I think, is an active pursuit, whereas respect is
standing.
Yeah, it's just kind of ingrained in how, I mean, we're talking about common sense. It's not common sense of how you should respect people, but it, according to like your society, like how like you grow up in that respectful light, I think, then helps you understand how you should appreciate people.
I think a lot of forms of appreciation is widely like shown as just compliments or things like that. So there's respect is kind of like how you feel inward towards somebody, and appreciation is showing it through any of the kind of languages out there. So I think that is their big difference, is what you internally think and then what you externally do to show it.
Good way to put it.
I remember what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
So when I was brought up, I also was told by my father and my mother, mostly my father, that you need to say sir and ma'am to people, which I still sometimes do, but I don't always find it entirely important to do. But doing that was something that was ingrained in my entire family, and I think it definitely helps to understand that you need to treat everyone with respect. But that's the weird thing about it, is because I believe that I believe that inspecting people is very important. You need to take a good gander at everyone.
Clear.
No, but I believe that respect is both earned and inherent at the same time. I think that it's inherent until they do something that makes it to where you shouldn't respect them. But that's kind of a weird gray area. At the same time, it's kind of a perspective thing. Everybody will have a different line that can be crossed in order for you not to respect someone anymore. But I think that you should always respect somebody, even if you don't like them. Just respect them by staying away from them, like we've been talking about in the past, or by not causing a problem with them and causing everyone more stress just in general. I think that's a better way to go about life. You know, conflict is also important, but it's good to not cause unnecessary conflict between you and whoever it is that you're having a problem with. But I was brought up to respect everybody pretty much. My mother and my father were both very big on that. Respecting your elders, respect everyone. Always say hi, and then how are you doing? And then hope you have a good day at the end of it. You know, it's always with the double finger snaps. They taught me that. They didn't teach me that.
It got tired at the end.
They didn't teach me that.
I wish that was how they taught me, because
every conversation was like that. Hey, buddy. Hey.
I think the crossroads that we're coming to is where, like, I think respect is depending on the societal norms that you have, like, been given, and then as you get older, it's like one of those like after appreciation thing. You appreciate how you can appreciate later in life, I think. Like, honestly, I can't even think of a moment. Like, I'm sure I liked things when I was younger, but I don't know how actively I appreciated what I had.
Yeah.
Like, I think as children, it's far more likely that we take stuff for granted and we don't understand the concept of appreciating something until we have a reason to, like, go against how we were taught to respect or something like that. I don't know. I'm riffing right now. It sounds interesting.
It's a complicated topic because everybody's got somebody that they don't respect as a person. There's certain reasons why, but at the same time, you want to try and respect everyone. It's hard. It's hard to be. It's hard to dislike somebody, and also still respect them at the same time.
Truly, I'm curious, like, if there could ever be, I think this would be an impossible study, but if there'd be a study done to see if statistically, if you didn't respect somebody, was it because of the way you were brought up? Like, is it because of, like, these inherent things that you learned as a child that, like, you just put off, and the person picks up on that, and just because you guys are different, it's hard to respect that person, just because of the way you perceive them and the way they perceive you. It's just like you grew up differently. It's really hard to get past that cultural barrier. And I mean, it's definitely not easy. You go to a different country, you go to a different state, and it's just really hard to communicate with people for a while. You have to get on to give up some of yourself, and also have people give up some of themselves to actually meet halfway. But
the meeting the halfway, I think, is where the respect meets. It's because both people are willing to actively try. I mean, actively disliking people is exhausting. Like, if you're actually thinking, like, I don't want to be around this person, but I have to, like, interact, like, if you dislike somebody, I've felt from experience, the more you have to interact with them, that's mainly what all you can think about, is how much you don't want to interact with them. And that can take away a huge part of your day. But it is nice when people can put aside their differences, like what you were saying earlier with, like, both agreeing to just not interact is almost meeting in the middle, which is respect. I mean, even if you're creating conflict, the people around you that aren't involved with it have to deal with that too, and that's disrespectful.
Well, and that's where the appreciation comes into play. If two people can respect each other while having different views, I think that's cause to appreciate the ability to do that.
And that in itself is how progression will happen, not only in government, but in your community, in your band, anything. If you have a disagreement, you come to a compromise, or you respect each other enough, even though that you have different views, to meet in the middle somewhere, or try to figure something out together.
Honestly,
Hunt 2020.
He's in it.
I'm running for president, guys. Gotta send me.
we know the polls are closed, but we got a special exception
One more. Put me in there.
from some Wyoming representatives.
What were you saying earlier about the lawsuits? Don't.
Don't.
Something that you were saying earlier, Tony, that the word nostalgia struck me, because you're talking about having things that you appreciated when you're younger, not that you or you didn't know that you were appreciating at the time, and then now that you're older, you look back and kind of appreciate it in a new way. I don't know how much of a tangent this actually is, but I feel like nostalgia in this current moment is often looked upon as a sad thing, as a longing or missing. But then you can see nostalgia, some people will see it as oh man, those are just really good times as you're reminiscing. But I think in this day of age, I've seen nothing but nostalgia being just it's never going to be the same. You're appreciating those things, but you have nothing else to look forward to.
No, truthfully. And I think that's a lesson, one of the lessons that should be more actively taught. I mean, a life skills class that everyone talks about, there should totally be a segment on, emotional preparedness in society, of just, being able to learn how to appreciate something. Usually happens in a not very comfortable way, because you just, you're not, I don't think we were actively taught in school how to just appreciate stuff, unless skill building for like job training, like looking forward, like what are your goals in 5 years? Like that's teaching us to appreciate where we're at in the moment a little bit, but it's nothing like
I feel like
appreciating that like good part of nostalgia of like letting things go and growth and
Yeah. I feel like you get those instances in more of the arts style classes. Whether it is like art itself, like you're painting, you're learning to like create and appreciate what you're making, whether it be woodshop or like music class. I think that Visa, mathematics or anything. I'm not downing the math nerds or anything. Like, but I feel like the idea of
That didn't sound genuine either.
Fucking down, you nerds. No, I'm not saying that you can't learn appreciation in mathematics. I'm just saying, when you're creating stuff like art and those kind of classes, I feel like that form of appreciation is created. At least in the school setting.
The more I get into technology, man, if you've met somebody who does IT stuff, they're total artists, dude. Like the way I look at people who are doing like coding and stuff, probably enjoy their work more than like a lot of artists do. And they're less. I feel like they might be a little less emotionally disabled. Us artists are what is the word I'm looking for? Broken.
It's just an on and off switch. It's like, I feel nothing. Hey, I'm
Wow.
ready to create.
The creation time.
You know, all artists are dead inside at least once in their life. Pretty much all of it.
Right.
It's a condition.
It's a
But I love this. You know, you can tell.
Oh, jeepers.
Go to the doctor's like, I'm afraid you're an artist.
No! Well, anyway,
For future artists, we got you.
Yeah.
We got you.
Come to us.
You're not alone.
just know that what your passion will lead you to is a dead soul. Just kidding. That's not
this is our time to be done, and this is not a great place to be.
No, that's why I didn't say I was kidding. I don't like to leave things like that just hanging, because then I feel like someone's gonna take it seriously.
I felt when I was gonna start talking about the nostalgia thing in my head, I was like, we're going off the rails. Here we go.
Yeah, it off the rails very fast.
You know, it's okay though. We're at the end of our time. If we were going for an hour, we're actually over.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
over an hour. Thank you everyone for showing up and dealing with our periodical tangent insanity.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's supposed to just be like we're talking like friends, then. You know, and then there's a fourth friend, or I guess 4
Really-
other friends
A
in
really
the camera.
quiet group of 10 people.
Yeah, they're just watching, you know, telling us when the music is too loud or too soft or both.
Which is appreciated.
it is hey.
He said the name of the concept.
it.
Wrap it up.
Said it. Well, thank you everyone for showing up. Next week we have art concepts. So we're trying to, I don't know if we're going to do it here or we're going to do it at Ava Arts Center, which is a local nonprofit. We'll probably have some information on Ava actually directly linked in our Twitch at some point. Just not right now because I'm overloaded with scholage.
Scholarage.
With scholars.
I'm overloaded with scallops.
Scallops.
I got an abundance of scallops. I can't get rid of them.
But we didn't introduce ourselves at the beginning, so we'll start over yonder.
I'm Thomas Hunt, other known as Tomasio Hunt, on PlayStation.
T honey.
Yeah.
Follow them.
Call me whatever you'd like, but I don't have many social medias now. You can find me on Facebook if you want, but I would rather you just go look up the Unknown Knowns on YouTube. That's what I want from you.
And we do in our About page below. If you're looking at our website, then there's no About page below because you're already on the website. But if you click the About, it'll take you to our website, The Unknown Knowns, and there's going to be a lot of other artists on there very, very soon. But we got The Unknown Knowns on there. We got some of my content on there that links you out to YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and literally everything. Still working on getting all that up, but this has been a total trial run, and we appreciate you guys. And Yeah, what was? I guess you say your
Yeah,
name
who's
now.
it? Who's
Say
this?
your name now. Who's
I
this
don't
guy?
know who it is.
I don't actually exist.
See, that's something to appreciate. That was impressive. To preach.
Wow.
So actually, my name's Mikey or Michael. Everybody goes by Mikey, except for me. I go by Michael.
Michael Statoon.
My handle on Instagram is MikeyPsyche34. That could be put up somewhere. It's on the website. Mainly as far as projects, working with multiple groups of different people. Hopefully all the artists that I'll be working with will eventually be on the website. Different recordings, hopefully working with some of the unknown knowns to do some potential projects in the future. As far as music on my own, we actually recorded an album in college about 3 years ago now. If you search up the Millennials, we'll find a way to link that in there too. It's just a fun college project, but that music exists, and we thought it was groovy. And outside of that, I mainly use on the Instagram. It's just look into my personal life, nothing too crazy. But the more that we work on this, the more we'll get to interact with more of y'all. So, thank you.
Yeah. And I'm AytuC. AytuC.
He's a 2C.
I'm a 2C. A to the letter C. Or Anthony. Nice to meet you. You guys have a beautiful day. I'm going to stand up because I don't got a remote yet because we're ghetto. But, you know.
That's alright.
Have a beautiful
Goodbye.
day. Later,
Thank you
y'all.
for tuning in.
All 5 of you rock.
Hell yeah.
Oh.